What's up, guys? It's the Sound Alchemist here with
Gersh1,
and we're back at it again, bringing you some more questions being answered in another installment of For the Greater War.
And this question comes from Tavares Dowdy. Now, he put question in front of his question, which is what you should do if you guys want us to answer your question for next week. We do this every Monday and Tuesday, and then we have now I remember. Then we have an extra video on Patreon. Patreon is where you can help us with a simple $1 a month, and we create more videos. But you guys already know this, well, at least most of you guys do, so let's answer the question that's left here. Are Space Marines allowed to have relationships / love lives? And also, do they remove their armor? So first, let's go with the easy question. Well, they're both easy. So, do they
Remove their armor?
Yeah.
Yes.
They do. There's actually a ton of really awesome videos of like Grey Knights getting their armor put on. That one Inquisition movie, right?
Yeah, the Inquisitor.
Yeah, the Inquisitor. That one has like a really awesome scene where you see like servitors mounting the carapace like armor onto the knight or whatever.
The Grey Knights.
And then there's also images that show us that.
There's images of I believe it's Dante without his armor on, and yeah, again there's a bunch of stuff.
Yeah, fuck this hung. I'm just kidding. And then the other question: Are Space Marines allowed relationships? No. So Space Marines are the equivalent of the Shaolin monks. Monks are not allowed to have relationships at all, nor do they have the capacity, I think, in their minds, or not, I wouldn't say capacity, but they don't even think about that.
Right.
Because they're so, combat oriented, that that doesn't cross their mind anymore.
The only relationship they can have is that to the Emperor, basically.
And then like love for their battle brothers, but like,
right.
it's never like romantic love, like I want to smash.
Like they do want to smash, but they want to smash heads.
Yes.
Not those heads. Other heads.
So those were the questions, or that was the special awesome question. Thank you so much for sending that, Tavares. I think that was your name. Now let's go to another question.
This one's by Gamer of Slanesh. He asks, is there a kind of exterminatus where you don't have to destroy the entire planet? I mean, planets are valuable, right? Especially ones which are rich in minerals. Is there a way just to kill every being but not destroy the entire planet so you can recolonize it again? Yes. One of the more pertinent ones is the virus bomb. That's basically...
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I mean, Horus used it when he was going to attack, like, Terra, I believe. Or it was, I think, Isvan?
It wasn't the Isvan, yep.
Isvan Massacre.
Isvan 3.
Yeah, so basically it's like a huge virus that wipes out all life, or at least most of it. But obviously if you're like underground, or you've got like gas masks on or anything, you'll be good. But yes, that is a major way of exterminatus.
Yeah, I completely forgot about that. There's also the fire one too, where like, if you check out our exterminatus video, it explains the different types of bombs that are used, and one of them, they send out a bomb, it ignites the oxygen in the air, and the entire planet turns into just like a giant fireball. And of course it doesn't kill off the minerals and whatnot, because fire doesn't hurt most minerals. But yeah. Next question comes from Tomcat. He has 3 questions actually. He's cheating. Could the Imperium survive another event like the Horus Heresy with an ending of another siege of Terra? Well, talk about the fall of Cadia.
That's right. So as most of you should know by now, the next major event is the fall of Cadia. So Abaddon's 13th? 14th?
I think it's part of the 13th Black Crusade, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, so the 13th Black Crusade is, getting its gears going, and they have to go through Cadia, because it is like the major Imperial controlled planet right next to the Eye, and it's rumored to have fallen, so...
And we're going to create a video as soon as GW posts their story, or at least start selling their story, so stay tuned, subscribe for that. We don't want to post it now because we've heard that YouTube, or not YouTube, we've heard that GW is pretty aggressive towards people who throw out leaks and that stuff. Yeah. And then the next question is, could they survive? Probably.
Yeah, it's the Imperium.
Yeah, but what would happen to humanity and the Emperor if the Imperium fell into heresy? And what would happen to the galaxy as a whole? So if you check out our latest video last week where we talk about if Horus would have won, what would have happened is Horus would have felt guilty for betraying the Emperor. He would have taken out that anger towards his followers. His followers would have attacked him. Another civil war, more destruction for humanity. Humanity would go extinct, and then of course chaos would weaken. But then that leaves all the other.
Right. Everybody else is still kind of out there.
Yeah, and then he has another one. Finally, if the Emperor was killed, how powerful do you think chaos would become, as their greatest enemy would be defeated? Also, could you do a video on what would happen to the galaxy if the Imperium fell? Yeah, we could do that. So if the Emperor fell, what would happen to chaos? I think they would strengthen.
Yeah, definitely. Because the rest of humanity would lose their Astronomicon, and that is a major thing towards getting basically your forces where you need to in a quick amount of time. So without that, basically, there's just going to be a tidal wave of chaos slowly spreading, and the Imperium is too far out and spread apart to get there all at once, so they're just going to systematically lose over and over and over again.
Yeah, what I think would be really cool is what would end up happening is that the Imperium would have to get help from races like the Tau. So there would be a Tau and Imperium Alliance, because the Tau don't use warp travel. So they would have to utilize Tau technology to help them spread their, well, at that point, it's just to help other planets.
Yeah, to help them push chaos back.
Yeah.
Now, I'm pretty sure they could get Eldar on their side, since they are mainly, focused to go against Slaanesh. And Slaanesh is part of chaos, so I feel like that's a race that'll be probably easier to ally with. The Tau, I don't know, because those Ethereals are pretty sneaky.
But I think the Tau would see that and they would be like, oh, this is our chance to infiltrate the Imperium and have humans on our side. Like, of course, humans would never be as populous as they are now, but they would utilize them too.
They'd probably have to make humanity convert to the greater good or something, but there's always a secret or hidden agendas behind that.
Yep. Next question.
This one is by Asurito. I think that's how you say it. Can a normal Imperial Guard one day become Lord Commander Militant? What should he do, and how long would it take? So it's going to take a long time, and it's going to be incredibly difficult, because one regular guardsman has a really, really high chance of dying. So basically, you got to be extremely lucky. You've got to do something basically miraculous over and over again so you can get noticed. And you just got to keep on going up that ladder.
You got to be charismatic as fuck.
That's right, yeah.
Like to the level of Horus. Or to the level of, who's really charismatic in real life? John... no, what's his name?
Yeah, John Legend.
Yeah, John Legend, there you go.
You gotta be basically John Legend.
Well, he's not that charismatic. But yes, that, and you have to be good militant.
Mm-hmm.
And then at the same time, you kind of have to be lucky. Like, what's his name? Creed.
Yeah.
Creed got the position because the governor was killed. Well, but they love the government. Well, you know what I'm saying. Next question comes from John Redcorn. Feliz Año Nuevo, compadres. My question is, what are your New Year's resolutions? That's a good question.
Yeah.
So what's your New Year's resolution? Let's start off with just in general, and then for the channel.
Yeah, so just in general, I need to, focus my time better. I feel like last year, I had too many, wasted time. Like, I was just like sitting around doing nothing when there's tons to do. So this year I want to be more efficient.
Cool. My general thing is I want to get my Imperial Fists done. Well, I want to get them started.
they're started. They're
like barely. Like I have
they're
a
built.
squad of
they're
10.
based. That's something.
They're half built. The bases are half done. And then for the channel, what I want is I want to focus on Patreon. I want to put out more of my own lore because I like writing lore now, and I want to do do that a little bit more.
Yeah, I've already started lore. If you actually go back to last week, I put out 2 videos on the 11th Legion. So if you guys haven't checked it out, look into it and criticize, because I need your guys' help. I want to make it as canon and as awesome as possible. So check that out.
He's probably gonna make it the actual army OP, but I'm gonna counter that OP.
That's the thing. I don't want it to be OP. I want it to be balanced. Balanced in 40K. What?
But yeah, thank you for sending that question. Next question.
This one's by Gasper de Variosu. I don't know how you pronounce your last name, so we'll go with. He asks, what race is more dangerous, Tyranids or Orcs?
That's a tough one.
Dangerous.
They're both pretty. Like, I would say that Orcs are more dangerous, not just because I play Orcs, but because they're gonna create the more
crazy
headache.
Yeah.
Because number one, if like a Orc invasion lands on a planet, chances are that the planetary defense force is gonna be able to push them back. But then more are gonna come in. So it's going to prolong the amount of time that planet gets conquered. So the fighting is going to be way, way longer. And then on top of that, let's say the humans win and they push the Orcs out. Orcs never go away. They release spores. So season after season, you're going to start seeing like feral Orcs coming from the jungles, the forests, or what have you. And it would just keep being a nuisance. Whereas the Tyranids would come in and they'll systematically wipe out the planet and then just get rid of everything that's there.
All the biomass.
Yeah, whereas with the Orcs, it's just like a constant, like, sore.
Yeah. I agree with that.
Next question comes from...
go ahead.
Murky Muddle.
Ooh.
Canon aside, what's your favorite story that comes out of 40K?
Canon aside?
Yeah, like whether it's canon or not.
Yeah.
I like the Alfarius story, where Alfarius decided to take that Primarch gene stock and has it for himself, and we don't know what he's gonna do with it. So yeah,
that's interesting. What can he do? No, mine was always the Horus Heresy. I really need to read the actual books, but like going through all the heresy, all the battles that goes on, it's just an epic adventure or an epic narrative in its entirety. And the way it ends is I just like it, because he does have remorse. Because at the end, when the Emperor's about to kill him, Chaos is like, let's leave your humanity intact and we're all gonna leave you. And he's like, oh, regret, sadness. That's kind of effed up.
It cripples him.
Basically, yeah. This one's by Ethan Warner. What is the most capable Space Marine chapter?
Imperial Fist.
That's what I was gonna say. Yeah. Besides the Ultramarines. Yeah.
I don't think the Ultramarines are that connected to Terra though. That's why I said Imperial Fist over Ultramarines, because like Imperial Fists are right there. They're like right in Terra.
But I mean, think about the Ultramarines. They've got their own little section of space on lock. Like, there's really nothing you can really do to hit them, because they're one of the more, where they used to be one of the more numerous chapters. So yeah.
But I think that the Imperial Fist would parlay the fact that they're in Terra, and so that they are around Terra, so that they would be able to be protected. Whereas like let's say I'm a villain, like I'm a Chaos villain, and I want to attack Ultima. I can go to Ultima. You, as a Ultramarine Primarch, so you're Calgar or whatever, you'd have to send a message to the High Lords of Terra to send reinforcement if you need it. Whereas if I'm an Imperial Fist,
you're already there.
I'm already there, and like it's not like, hey, send help to help my chapter. It's, hey, send help or else you're gonna die.
Right.
So I think that's why they have that advantage. But yeah, they have a bunch of successor chapters too.
That's right.
Next question comes from Dark Michael 7777. Why are the Necrons bad / evil? Seems they are a perfect race to take over the Milky Way. They did at one point.
Yeah, they were like up there.
Yeah, they were the top dogs, and they're bad and evil because they don't have souls. How could you think that something that doesn't have a soul be nice or good? Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Yeah, I mean they're basically just trying to take control of what they used to have.
They're robots.
Yeah, they're not bad guys. They just want to rule the world and everything else.
Yeah, that's all.
And we're just part of those guys that doesn't want to be ruled by them.
Yep.
This one's by KPEMUKOBCU. It's Russian, so I have no idea how to pronounce that.
I don't know.
Yeah. But you got an interesting question. The Emperor versus Tywin Lannister. Who wins?
Emperor. Hands down. If I came with a... what was it?
A crossbow.
A crossbow and I shot the Emperor.
Well, he's taking a shit.
Yeah, the Emperor would just be like, come on, man. Stop.
Like, just by looking at you, I can burn you out of existence.
Yeah, he would burn the arrow and then repurpose it and shoot it back at you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Next question comes from the WoW Medic. The WoW Medic? How many STDs does Slaanesh have?
All of them.
Does Slaanesh have to go to Isha for the cure?
No.
They live with their STDs.
They display them proudly.
Yeah.
This next one's by Jaegerbomb. Are there any Space Marine chapters that started off as either fan fiction or were created outside of Games Workshop that became canon later on? What current fan-made chapters would you two like to see become canon? I don't know if there were any fan-made ones.
Well, from commenters in the UK, some of our subscribers in the UK that we've talked about, or that we talked with, they've actually told us that they've had situations where GW does a special event at their Games Workshop store, and you create your own lore, you create your own Space Marine chapter, and it becomes canon through the order of GW. So yeah, fan-made chapters can become canon. They're not going to become as like huge as like the Black Templars or what have you. But yeah, they can be canon, and any big ones.
Angry Marines.
Yeah. Yeah, Angry Marines would be cool to have as a real chapter.
Yeah. You just curse at your opponent the whole game. But the only thing that I've seen, like me personally, was there's this one guy at an old school GW that I used to go to. He said he got his chapter specific rules, like he made home rules, and those got sanctioned by GW. Yeah. So like if he goes to like a tournament, he can use his homebrew rules and not be like disqualified or anything.
Yep. Next question comes from Mattis Silverburn. All the Chaos Gods went to war or if all the Chaos Gods went to war to the death, who would win? That's a good question.
I don't think there'd be a winner since there's like no death or life in the war.
Yeah, that is true. You can't really kill a Chaos God. It's like Doctor Strange, where he couldn't kill that thing.
Dormammu.
Yep. So he just trapped it in a loop.
And that's essentially what they'll do, because they'll die, they'll come back, they'll die, they'll come back.
And then at some point they'll just be like, nah, fuck that.
Except Korn, he'll just keep fighting.
Yeah.
Bruva Michael. Where's the Emperor's golden armor at? It got melted down, and I think it's like now they're like honor badges that certain Marines get when they do something amazing.
It's pretty badass.
I think they're called like Crux Terminatus. I think it's what the Terminators wear, like on their little shoulder thingies.
Cool. And those were the questions for this week. Thank you guys so much for sending the questions our way. If you guys have more questions, please comment down below. And don't forget, we have a Patreon exclusive for the Greater Wall, where we give you guys more cool stuff.
And as always, thank you guys for being awesome subscribers. He is
Gersh1.
I am the Sound Alchemist, and we are One Mind Syndicate, signing out.